Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Kim TV. I'm Kim Jimenez, your digital marketing strategist and the founder of the Business Lounge. And in this episode, we're going to go through the 6 stages of a successful online business in tons of detail. And spoiler alert, we have an awesome cheat sheet so you can follow along and really learn what you should be focusing in on at the different stages of the online success path based on the stage that you are in right now. So whether your business is in the validation stage or the launch stage or the profit or the breakthrough or the scale, we're going to go through each individual one, and I'm going to show you what you should be focusing in on, what strategies you should be ignoring, and more importantly, when is the right time to move on to the next strategy. So let's get into the episode. You're here. I'm so excited. So if you're brand new to my channel, I know we've been having some pretty awesome growth. We're adding new subscribers, and I just wanted to say welcome, welcome, welcome. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to hit the button. We have tons of awesome information here. It's all free, it's all great, and I really want to be able to serve you in bigger and better ways. So we put out new videos constantly, so I want to make sure that you don't miss out. So hit the button. All right, so let's get into today's episode. We are, of course, all here ready with my beautiful lion hair. I know it's kind of crazy, but it doesn't matter. That's not what we're here for. We're here to learn. And so I want to make sure that you kind of understand what are the 6 stages of a successful online business. And this whole system came about because my members inside of the Business Lounge, if you don't know what the Business Lounge is, it's an awesome membership site for online creators. And my members were constantly asking me this one question: Kim, what am I supposed to be working on right now to move, the needle in my business? And so this was the question that I struggled with the entire time I've had a business. It's been like, oh my gosh, what should I be focusing on? Webinars? Should I be focusing on getting more clients? Should I be focusing on email marketing or, social media? There's so much that goes on. The internet is such a noisy place right now. It's always been. And a lot of the information that you get on the web is well-intended, it's accurate, hopefully, most of the time it's accurate. And it's very valuable, but it's not always intended for your individual specific stage. So this is like a complete game changer, guys, because I see so many marketers and so many online creators selling, courses on very individual, niche, very specific topics like Instagram marketing or webinars or funnels and all that good stuff. That's all great. The problem is they're catering that knowledge to everybody. And the thing is, you cannot be implementing certain strategies, at every stage of your business because you're not ready. So to give you an example, I use this a lot because it's my own experience. I launched an online training course way too early. I was launching without really understanding, how to set up really great funnels, how to do copywriting, how to really entice, my audience, how to have a launch plan, how to grow my community. And I should have been focusing in on building my email list, growing my community, building stronger relationships, instead of launching a program that failed epically. So I want to avoid you all the struggle and all the heartache of implementing strategies in your business that are very valuable but that you're not ready for. And this is so important. I say this all the time. I sound like a broken record, but the truth is, business is all about the fundamentals. Every new strategy that you implement, both in business and in life, comes down to mastering the fundamentals. All the ninja strategies, all the cool tricks, all the really awesome marketing stuff that you want to learn, and it's like shiny object syndrome, that's all well and good. I love that stuff too. But guess what, my friend? It's not going to give you results if you don't have the foundational elements in your business in place. And that's so massively important. I have members and subscribers and people who email me all the time telling me that they have this awesome marketing plan. They're going to be implementing these super, ninja strategies and marketing automation and Facebook ads and webinars and funnels. and they don't even know, right, if their product is actually going to sell. They haven't taken the time to validate their idea. They don't know who their ideal customer is. They haven't even had a conversation with that person. They have no idea how they're going to generate traffic or exposure or get sales. Hello. So I have been there, and if you were there, I completely understand where you're at, and this is why we're creating this series all about the 6 stages of a successful online business. Now, if you haven't watched part 1, make sure to go over to that video and watch it first. It's all about the 3 biggest mistakes I made in my business when I was getting started, and I think it can really, really serve you. Plus, it's going to set the tone for this specific video. So make sure to watch that now. It's going to be in the description box as well as somewhere here in the video. So make sure to watch that because I really want you to get all the series and all the pieces in place. Now, more importantly, if you haven't downloaded the Success Path cheat sheet yet, that's what we're going to go into today because I want to go step by step through each stage and show you what you should be working in on so you can focus, laser focus, have digital blinders on so you're not constantly overwhelmed and, trying to implement 17 different strategies at the same time that A, you're not ready for, B, you're not doing a good job at implementing all of them at once because you're totally overwhelmed and you don't have the resources necessary to implement them in a way that's really going to work for your business. So I want you to just take a step back. We're taking a step back. We're going to reanalyze and reevaluate your business. We're going to do that inside of the Success Path. And you want to have the cheat sheet with you so that you can download it and follow along. See what it's like, my friend? We got you covered. We got you covered from all different angles. So download that over at KimberlyAndyMinutes.com/path, P-A-T-H. So path as in like a path, like a journey, like a roadmap. And it's also going to be linked in the description somewhere in the video as well. So let's get down to it. I'm going to hop behind the computer and we're going to go through it together. So here we go. Okay guys, so here we are inside the online success path, and as you can see, we have a full-blown cheat sheet for you with the 6 stages of a successful online business, which are validate, launch, hustle, breakthrough, profit, and scale. Now, to go along with this cheat sheet, we also have 2 podcast episodes all about the 6 stages of a successful online business, where I go into even more detail as to each individual stage and what you should be tackling, what to expect, etc. So if you want to access those, you can listen right away, or you can subscribe via iTunes or Google Play to the Business Lounge podcast. Now let's dive into the first 3 stages because this video would be way too long if I tackled all 6 of them. We're going to break it into 2 parts. So this is actually part 2 of the series. So in part 3, we're going to be tackling the last 3 stages. So right now we're going to be tackling validate, launch, and hustle, and how to figure out whether or not you're in one of these stages. So let's dive right in. So first and foremost, we have the validate stage. And you're in the stage if you don't have a business idea yet, or if you do have an idea, you're not really clear on how to pursue it. You also have a basic idea. If you do have an idea, you have a basic one, but you don't have a website, you don't have clients yet, or a, legitimate business. So you're still in the ideas phase, or perhaps you are trying to kind of get clear on what the idea might be. If that is you, then you are in this validate stage. So you haven't taken time to truly validate your idea if you're in the validate stage or you're going through it right now. And the whole, as a stage kind of calls for it, the whole stage is about making sure that the idea that you have is going to be profitable. And this is the process that we go through every time we launch a new course, a new program, a new service inside of our business. And I want to make sure that you take this part seriously because so many of us jump into launch, right, into the next stage, launching our ideas into the world without truly taking the time to make sure that people actually want to pay us for them. So very important validation stage. So of course, in this stage, you don't have any paying clients yet. Again, these are all rules of thumb. So this is going to vary depending on kind of where you're at. We have lots of members who are in the validate stage, right? But they've already launched, but they're going back to the validate stage to make sure that they're ticking all those boxes off, right? And making sure that they've done their homework, they know their client, and they know that they have a profitable business. So let's talk about what what to focus on, because this is super important. Of course, we all have at some point, shiny object syndrome, which is where you get totally unfocused because there's a shiny new strategy that you want to implement. And these are the things that I really want you to hone in on. I want you to focus on validating your business idea. And this is it, right? Nothing else. Validating your business idea, doing market research like a crazy person. I want you to put your detective hat on and really focus on, okay, who are my competitors? What is it that makes me different in this specific market? I want you to look at the trends of that marketplace. I want you to get really, really scientific about the approach that you take with your business. I want you to get feedback from real people. So you're going to get feedback from prospects, and you're going to select the business model that kind of fits in with your lifestyle or with your long-term vision of your business. So not all of us, right, want to have a huge agency or a huge firm with, 300, 500 employees. You might want to be able to work from your laptop, and you don't ever see, ever having anything else other than maybe a virtual assistant. Some of you want to have mid-sized teams, and you want to be able to go into, an office every day and have team meetings and kind of showcase your office environment and build a culture, which should be something you do regardless. But very important that you understand the business model, right? Whether it's a service-based business model, a product-based business model, an info product business model, you want to figure that part out, and you do that by doing research. So let's talk about what tasks and strategies to ignore. So I really want you to put your digital blinders on right here, and I do not want you to start creating your product because you're still figuring out whether or not your idea is viable, right? Whether or not it's profitable. I don't want you to start designing a logo, picking a company name, designing your website, or setting up your social media pages. That comes in the next stage. Right now, we're only focused on validating your idea. So here's when to move on to the next stage. You can move on to the launch stage, when you have a clear business idea and you know exactly how you're going to be monetizing it, and B, once you have a clear understanding of your future clients. So who are you selling to? What are their interests, their behaviors, their likes, their wants, their desires? What keeps them up at night? How do they really, envision the ideal solution to their problem kind of taking place in the marketplace? So I really want you to get very strategic. Now, for Business Launch members, we have a full-blown action plan with video trainings and tutorials. We're not going to go into all of that right now because you do have to be a member in order to unlock this portion. But I still think this is super, super helpful and will give you a great starting point in terms of what to work on, what to ignore, and when to know when it's time to move forward. So let's talk about the next stage here, which is launch. And launch is so important. This is where you're getting really excited about your idea. This is kind of like the, honeymoon stage of your business. You're super excited. You really want to move forward with your idea. You've already done the legwork to validate it. And now it's time to get it out there into the world, right? It's time to really start moving forward. All right, so you're in the launch stage if you've proven the validity of your business and you maybe don't have your branding down yet. You have a website, you don't have a website just yet, or it's due for a massive overhaul. You don't have social networks set up, or if you do, you haven't kept them updated at all. You don't have a solid business workflow, meaning you're not organized. You don't know how you're going to set up, your project management. You don't know how you're going to keep your tasks organized, and you don't have paying clients just yet. So this is, again, basic benchmark. You may or may not tick all of these, check marks. That's okay. But get a better idea of okay, this is what the launch stage is about. Here is where you're going to really bring your ideas into the world. So what I want you to focus in on this stage is very simple. Number one, you're going to be naming your business and figuring out, okay, this is what I want to call my business. I want to brand it after myself. I want to brand it, externally through a traditional brand. I want to create a solid workflow. So this is super important. I want you to get a task management tool like Trello or Asana or Basecamp and really start breaking down the projects that you have in place into smaller, more digestible tasks. This is so important. Listen, I'm going to tell you a little story. When I started my business, I was writing everything down on sticky notes, right? Like all my to-dos on sticky notes all over my desk, or I was using legal pads. No. I'm all for paper. I love paper planners. You'll see a notebook on almost every video on my desk because I love notebooks. But things change online so quickly that you want to have a project management tool that allows you to make tweaks and changes on the fly. So important. Highly recommend Trello. I have tons of videos on Trello if you want to check those out as well. I'll link them in the description. But I really want you to get a solid workflow so that you're not feeling overwhelmed. And this is massively important. When you're just getting started with your business, there's a lot coming at you and it's very, very overwhelming to kind of take it all in at once. You're learning new tools. You have no idea kind of like what to expect. You are feeling like, you're going to have ups and downs where you're feeling really, really excited, and then downs when like you can't figure out the technology, setting things up, and you're like, if I have to learn one more tool, I am going to literally hide under my desk and scream. So I get it. To prevent that, you need to get organized and you need to get strategic, and you do so by being intentional and signing up for a project management tool like a real professional. No sticky notes, right? And no legal pads. I want you to get very serious about this. All right, next you're creating your brand identity, and that means designing your logo, picking out your colors, figuring out what fonts do you want, kind of getting a better visual representation of what your brand is going to be like. And doing that takes, a process. It's definitely something that you want to work on as you move along. You're also going to be launching your website. So you all know that I'm a big fan of WordPress, but Squarespace and Wix are also good alternatives if you're just getting started and you don't really know how to manage a WordPress just yet. By the way, shameless plug, we have a brand new WordPress one-on-one course coming out next week. So if you're watching this as we release it, we have that and I'm so excited about it. My members are pumped too. That's all inside the Business Lounge, so join us. Okay, so the next one is all about setting up your social network. So now that you have a business name, now that you have logos and your brand identity, it's time to launch your social media presence. So I really want you to go in there and pick 1 to 2 social networks, okay? This is not about getting into every social network on the existence of the planet. Eventually you can do that, but when you're starting out, there's a lot of things that need work. There's a lot of things that you need to get off the ground. And the last thing I want for you is to get massively overwhelmed, distracted, unfocused, and do a little bit on all social networks instead of focusing in on 1 or 2 and leveraging them to the max. So I want you to do 2 things. Number 1, I want you to figure out where your existing client is hanging out, whether that be Instagram or Facebook or Pinterest or YouTube or Snapchat. I don't care, but you have to do the research. You have to do the homework. You need to figure out where that person is. And number 2, I want you to pick a social network that works with your personality, that works with your style. If you're terrible at taking pictures and you have no interest in getting better, Instagram is not the platform for you, my friend. Neither is Pinterest, right? But if you love like taking short videos on the fly, kind of showing people behind the scenes, and you know that your audience is on Snapchat, that's the tool for you. So 2 things. Where are your people at? And make sure that you can sustainably continue growing that social platform based on your individual kind of talents and your gifts and what you feel comfortable with. So very important there. Next, I want you to create your content calendar. Massively important. You guys know I'm a big fan of content calendars. I preach about them. I talk about them all the time. We have a full course on creating content calendars. But if you want to check out another video that I have here on the channel all about creating content calendars, I'm going to link that as well in the resource section so you can get your content calendar set up. Very important, because in this next stage, which is hustle, we're going to be focusing in on creating content 24/7. We're going to get really, really strategic about our content. We're going to figure out exactly how to leverage it. And so that next stage is very important, but you can't jump into that until you have the foundational elements of your business set up. And this is the order that I recommend. So let's talk about the strategies that I want you to ignore. These are the things that I do not want you getting super caught up in, okay? Number 1, no creating lead magnets. Why? Because you're setting up your website. It's not the time to do that just yet. 2, getting your guest blogging opportunities set up. Again, great thing to do in the next stage, not right now. Right now, you're fully focused on bringing your ideas to life, figuring out your products, all that good stuff. Okay, number 3, launching JV opportunities. So if you have the opportunity to do affiliate marketing with another blogger, another podcaster, no, not right now. You're focused on launching your business. That can come later, and we have strategies for that in other stages. But right now, you're fully focused on launching your business. Running Facebook ads, again, advanced strategy. I don't want you running Facebook ads. I've said this a million times, like how to know. And actually, there's a podcast episode I'm going to link to below. It's about how to know whether or not you're ready to run Facebook ads. And you're not ready in this stage. And I'm going to tell you why. Because you don't have a way to get ROI off of your ads. You still don't have any idea what it really takes to lure your customers in. You're still testing out like, is this going to be a brand that's actually going to attract my ideal client? Let alone, we haven't even gotten to copywriting. You don't even really understand how to create graphics yet. You're still in the process of getting your product out there. And I see this mistake done over and over and over again. Facebook ads don't work. Facebook ads don't work. It's because you don't have the foundational elements to make sure that you can make money off of your ads. Why would you ever do that? Okay, so anyway, podcast episode below on how to tell if you're ready to run Facebook ads, and I have like a checklist and everything, so no excuses. Next, creating online courses. Again, another pet peeve of mine. Oh my gosh. If I had a dime or even a penny for every time I have someone reaching out to me saying, I'm going to get ready to, create my online course. And I'm like, okay, do you have a following? Okay, do you have an email list? Okay, do you have a website? No. How are you going to sell it? No courses in this stage, okay? Courses require a lot of time and energy and effort if you want to do them right. And I don't want you to getting super distracted on creating this right now. Plus, you probably don't even have the expertise to do it just yet. So let's stick to what we're good at right now and what matters. Again, no skipping ahead. Okay, so here's when to move on to the next stage. Number 1, you have clear paid offers. So you know what you're going to be offering, what your products are going to be. You've picked your business model in the previous stage, remember. You have your website launched, which is the next one. So you have clear, ideas of what your paid products are going to be, price points, all that good stuff. And now we're going to really focus in on the next stage, but you can't do that until you have your social media pages launched, your website launched, and you have your first paid client. I know. Again, it doesn't have to be someone that pays you a ton of money. You might have given your grandpa or your sister a huge discount, but you have to have money in the bank, okay? Someone had to pay you for that product or that service before you move on to the next stage. Why? Because there's no better validation than money in the bank. When someone gives you their money, that is the ultimate form of validation for your product, your service, or your course or your program. Very important. Don't move on to the next stage until you have your first paid client. And again, we have an action plan for this stage for Business Lounge members. So if you're watching and you're a Business Lounge member, click there and that'll take you to your action plan for the launch stage. And last but not least for this video, this is stage number 3. Remember, there's 3 other ones that we're going to cover in the next one. But this is the hustle stage. And in the hustle stage, man, you're going to be tackling a lot of stuff. So here, you're in the stage if you have, 3,000 to 5,000 email subscribers. Again, hustle stage, benchmark, kind of like, you might have less, which is fine. So you have 3 to 5 or less. Again, you're publishing original content on your blog, podcast, or video show on a weekly basis consistently. If you haven't done this yet, that's okay. You're going to learn how to do it in the hustle stage. You also have a combined social media following between 100 people to 10,000 people or less. Remember, we're starting from scratch, but I don't want you moving on to the next stage until you hit those benchmarks. And this is where most of you are. Most of you are in the hustle stage from the conversations that we have. You're kind of hustling to get, awareness, build awareness, get that exposure, build that traffic. And so you're generating revenue, or you're close to generating revenue. Remember, again, you really want to have that first paid client, but it's not to replace your salary just yet or cover your basic personal expenses. Okay, so you can't do this full time yet. You're in the hustle stage. You want to get to that point, but that's the next stage, which is the breakthrough. So I really want to make sure that you're focusing in on the right strategies here, because there's a lot going on in the hustle stage. So let's, you can read all of this later, but let's talk about what to focus in on. Number one, you're going to be creating content, or, original content consistently. That means updating your Instagram page, your Facebook page, your Twitter account, whatever social network you chose. Remember, we're picking 2 max. You're updating those on a consistent basis. You're growing your social media following, right? So you're implementing strategies and tactics, and you're learning about social media. You're learning about how to grow an audience, how to build a community, and you're really focusing on doing that in strategic ways. You're also growing your email list. So you're figuring out, okay, I'm building my audience, and now I'm turning them from, followers on social media to actual leads and prospects on my email list. So you're doing a lot of that. You're in the hustle stage. You're generating organic traffic, meaning you're generating free traffic. Maybe that's coming from YouTube, or it's coming from Pinterest, or it's coming from Twitter. It can be, SEO. All that good stuff is happening in this stage. You're learning about your audience. You're interacting with them. You're in the trenches. You're really hustling. And so, of course, that's where the name comes from. Next, you're closing your first few clients, right? Whether that be a product-based business and you have your first couple of orders, or someone signed your first contract agreement on a recurring basis, or you are selling your first couple of copies of your book. Again, closing your first clients, getting to know those people, figuring out who's right and who's not right for your business. All of this is happening in the hustle stage. And we are building that momentum up onto the breakthrough stage, which is really when you get your first huge win in your business. All of these are small wins, and they're awesome because they really add up. But when you're in the breakthrough stage, you start really seeing, you're really generating revenue, you're doing your business full time and all that good stuff. And we're going to talk about that in the next video. But for now, here are the strategies that I do not want you to tackle in this stage yet. We're not running Facebook ads. I know you're like, still not running Facebook ads because you don't have funnels yet, which means you don't have a way of making that ROI directly. And there are exceptions to this. There's niches and specific industries where I'm like, you need to run Facebook ads right now. But for the majority of you, you're not going to be running Facebook ads. You're also not going to be running webinars unless, and this is a big unless you're using webinars as a list building strategy. So you're collaborating with other people, and you're, kind of getting your name in front of other people's audiences, and you're not pitching on your webinar. It's a pitch-free webinar, and you're using it as an opportunity to showcase your knowledge, help people, and get your name out there. If that's the case, power to you, go for it. Next, we're not creating online courses yet, right? We're not doing that. We're still in the hustle phase. We're really working our way through having consistent revenue, very important. And we don't have sales funnels just yet. You're not setting up sales funnels. You're really focusing on getting clients organically and setting up that process so you get to know who these people really are before you invest in paid traffic. So very important. Again, this is just my experience. This is my kind of like framework, the way that I coach my clients, the things that I have seen work throughout the past 4 years of my business. If you disagree, I totally understand. I respectfully get it. I can already see the comments below, but just this is the framework that I have seen success with, and that my members see success with, and that the people that I coach see success with. So it's very important that you kind of understand that. Kind of take it or leave it. This is definitely what I recommend you do. And again, there's a reason to it. And I see it over and over again. So I really want you to take this seriously. Next, let's talk about when to move on to the next stage. Number one, you can move on to the next stage when you have at least 3,000 email subscribers. No less. No less. And again, there are exceptions. If you're in a really, really niche industry, there might be some exceptions, because you have to also understand that companies that appeal to the masses, right, need to kind of keep in mind that you have to have bigger numbers. Whereas if you're appealing to a very, very specific group of people, you don't need as big numbers, because you're going to get a lot more, volume. So it's just, you want to think about that for sure. here's, kind of the next benchmark. When you've guest posted or completed interviews on other people's audiences at least 20 times. So very important. You're guest blogging, you're showing up on Facebook groups, you're doing social media takeovers, you're signing up for podcast interviews and YouTube show interviews and all that good stuff. You have to pitch yourself. You have to get out there. People need to know who you are. Very important. Next, when you have organic social media engagement and your followers are growing organically, so you're seeing momentum on the 2 social networks that we picked. Also, when you have a clear understanding of what clients want and need from you. So important. So important. So many people skip this step. They have no idea who their clients are, what they need. No. You have to be really clear on who this person is, what their challenges and their desires are. And of course, when you're generating enough revenue to work on your business full time. And that's where the breakthrough kind of comes into play. When you're working on your business full time, and I don't mean working on your business full time and you're barely making the rent. I mean, you're working on your business full time. It's not crazy money, but it's enough to pay your bills, right? And you can start investing a little here and a little there in growing your business. So that's what we have for today. Those are the first three stages of the online success path in detail. I hope that you enjoyed it. Make sure to come over to KimberlyAnnJimenez.com/path to download this exact cheat sheet. And I'm going to leave you for today. I'll see you in part 3 of this series. If you want to catch up on the previous episode, click on the description box below. It's going to be all in there. And make sure that if you like this video, give it a big thumbs up. Leave me a comment in the comment section below, letting me know what you think, whether you have questions, if you're confused about one stage or the other, or just say hi. I love reading your comments. It definitely makes my day. And don't forget to subscribe. So I love you. Do some amazing things, and I'll see you on the next episode. So, you know how building an online business can be totally overwhelming? You're probably learning new strategies from YouTube, other blogs, podcasts, and taking courses that are all great, but sometimes give you contradictory and even confusing advice. I get it. It's hard to filter through which strategies you should be implementing right now to grow your online business versus the ones that you should stow away for the future, when you're actually ready to implement them. And that's exactly why we designed the Online Success Path. Inside, we broke down the 6 stages of a successful online business: validate, launch, hustle, breakthrough, profit, and scale. And we designed a complete roadmap inside the Business Lounge membership just for you. Inside each stage, you will find a step-by-step action guide tailored to the specific challenges you'll encounter during the stage of business you are currently at, complete with getting started tips so you can know exactly what to expect, video tutorials so that you can implement new strategies, action items so you stay on track, plus full-blown courses to help you focus only on the tasks that will accelerate your progress right now and take you to the next level in your business journey while keeping you accountable and overwhelm-free. So if you're ready to take your online business to the next level, get started at jointheblounge.com.